you're down in troubles and you need some love and care, and nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest nights. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running, and soon I'll be there. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you've got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You've got a friend. When the sky above you is dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind begins to blow, keep your head together and call my name out loud, and soon you'll hear me knocking at your door. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running, and soon I'll be there. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you've got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You've got a friend. You've got a friend. You've got a friend. If you were falling, then I would catch you. You need a light, I'll find a match, 'cause I love the way you say good morning, and you take me the way I am. You're feeling chilly, you take my sweater. Your head is hurting, I'll make it better, 'cause I love the way you call me baby, and you take me the way I am. I'll buy you Rogaine love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Pardon the way that I stare. There's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. There are no words left to speak. And if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Trust in me when I say
Welcome, Valentines. Are we feeling the love in this room? Yes, ma'am. I was going to walk around, but then I realized no one is going to be able to see me, and I went to a lot of trouble to get this hair and face done, so I'm up here, okay? I am so excited to have you here. We are just putting our love out there for all of you, our family, our friends. Bonnie, tell me if the mic doesn't work.
No, it's good.
Okay. Our family, friends, our caregivers, and our supporters. You are just so precious to us, and we love that you're part of the Miss Wheelchair Texas family as of this very moment and forevermore. Welcome to our 11th annual gala, where we will select the 2015 Crown Jewel of Texas. I'm Gloria Tenenbaum, and I've told you this before if you've been here. I'm a third-generation Houstonian, a proud Texan, and a proud member of the Miss Wheelchair Texas Board of Directors. I am also a huge romanticist, idealist, and firm believer in the power of love. And this room is filled with love tonight. And it's also been filled with music from our amazing pianist, who is a talented and amazing musician. She teaches at the Kincaid School as well as at the Tutts Humphrey School of Musical Theater and at River for the Performing and Visual Arts that serves children with disabilities. So we welcome Kathy Elder to us this evening. I hope you got to hear a little bit of that gorgeous songbird as you were entering tonight. That voice came from another Kincaid child. She happens to go to Kincaid. She is an amazing rising star, and as smart as she is beautiful, and as beautiful as her voice is, let's welcome Ashley Stern. And at the back, bringing us a few special effects and dance music later on this evening is Chandler White, who's going to be mixing it up for us. And I hope you will plan to stay and dance with us, because I need a dance partner. My husband's not here tonight, okay? So I'm gonna need some people to dance with me. And honestly, the truth is, I need some new moves. I'm still doing the Boogaloo and the Watusi. So for those of you who remember that, I could use a little help here. So I hope you will stay. The bar will continue to stay open, so plan to be here for that as well. Tonight, we're going to honor all of the Valentines in our lives, and this room is filled with many of them. Let's start with Laura Halverson, who's in the back at table 33 with Houston, her dog, who is her wonderful service dog. She is our current 2014 Miss Wheelchair Texas, and we want to thank her. We're going to hear from her later. We also have some other title holders here. I just want to mention Michelle Colvard, 2008, who also, she's over here somewhere, and who also went on to be our 2009 Miss Wheelchair America. We have Anna Calvo over here somewhere. Anna, I just saw, who is our 2009 Miss Wheelchair Texas. Kimmy Emiesi, did I miss you? I know you're here. What table? Kimmy's not here yet, but she's coming. Amanda Hall, 2011. And Tina Williams, 2012. Let's give a big round of applause for our past title holders. They continue to light the way for all of us, and they will always be our sweethearts. A big shout out to the wonderful volunteers that we've had for this event. We have the Gamma Sigma Sigma girls who are here. Where are you? Raise your hand or jump up and down for me. Where are you? Gamma Sigma Sigma. They may still be working. They're still working. Okay, and when they come later, we'll meet them. And also our Texas Bells that come in from Austin every year on their own to be with us. Thank you both groups for helping so much. We also have an amazing board of directors who we love you all. There are 22 women and 5 men. And sometimes we let the guys say something. The truth is that Brian Evans is our president. So he actually says a lot, and all of them do, and they're going to all be up here helping me later on this evening. So we thank them. There are 3 board members I just have to mention because Barb Perlick, Amy Passmore, and Debbie Stevens. Let me just tell you, a round of applause. You want them on your board, okay? And I just tell you this, if you ask for something, be careful what you ask for, because once you ask for it, you're going to get it. It's unbelievable. They are amazing, and we're so grateful. And we have to mention Stacy Davis. I don't know, she used to be called the volunteer coordinator. There's no telling how many titles she has now, but she's done an amazing job coordinating this event, and we thank her for everything she does all year long. They all give from the heart, and we heart them back. Tonight, we take special pride in honoring our caregivers. That's right. We honor our doctors, the nurses, the physical and occupational therapists, the researchers, because I consider them caregivers as well. All of those people, those tier tables over there, back there, you guys, let's hear it for all of you mommies and daddies, grandmas and grandpas. I met a grandma over there a minute ago. I know y'all are here. Aunts and uncles, brothers, sisters, brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws, children. We all, at some points in our lives, are caregivers. But we know that this group is special because you guys give 100% unwavering, unconditional, and pure love every minute of every day. And tonight, we dedicate to you. And now, either stand or sit at his attention as we ask Ashley Stern to sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I dream at night that I could sing like that. We're going to have a benediction in about 10 minutes after we introduce Little Miss, but I know that some of you are starving. We had that long line to wait in to get our cars parked. So please feel free to eat your salads and whatever else you can find on that table that's edible. You know, Texas has a reputation for liking everything big, and you know it's true. Why not? Big, little? I mean, is there really a question? Big jewels over little jewels. Guys, how was Valentines? I hope you did well this year for your ladies. And reverse. Big cars. I still have my big hair. And this state was actually created by some big ideas and big dreams. But what I love about our state the most is that we have big hearts. And nowhere do I find that more true than in this wonderful city of Houston, Texas. You have all come from everywhere to be here tonight, and we want to thank you, and thank you for those big hearts. We have, about 11 years ago, we had a small group of young women that had their sights set on a big goal, to make our cities more inclusive and accessible, to break barriers and stereotypes so that all of us would be thought about and honored for our abilities rather than our disabilities. And with their hearts in the right place and people like you, this dream has come true. A decade later, a little more than a decade later, Miss Wheelchair Texas is everywhere. We have a strong presence in the social media, on YouTube, in the schools, and across the nation. where our ambassadors are educating and advocating from the classroom to the boardroom, from the dining room to the council room. Perhaps the greatest impact that Miss Wheelchair Texas, I think, has is to identify, influence, and inspire the next generation of leaders. And we have a group of several young superstars here to prove it. We welcome all of our past Little Miss Wheelchair Texas title holders who happen to be here to the stage to participate in the crowning of the 2015 Little Miss Wheelchair. And going to lead them up the ramp and help, we have assisting Cameron Grice. Cameron, why don't you take a little bow? She is, are you ready for this? The 2015 National American Miss Texas Junior Preteen. I don't know how she remembers it. And coming up next, we have Sydney Horak, who was our 2008 title holder. And then right behind her is Miss Kirsten Passmore, who was 2013. And then we have Chloe Short, our current Little Miss, who joins us on stage as well. Let me tell you, this Chloe is a true heartthrob. She's spread light and goodwill throughout Houston as Little Miss all year long, and she's been speaking everywhere, hosting events, and making appearances all over our city and our state. She had a little tea party this afternoon for her peers, and later in the program, we're going to see a special talent that Chloe has that's going to definitely impress you and that you're going to love hearing. So thank you all for all the work that you continue to do for us. And now it's time to crown the 2015 Little Miss Wheelchair Texas. Our Little Miss for 2015 has proven time and again, is that me? Oh, the drum roll. Sorry. Our Little Miss has proven time and again, you gotta have heart, hope, and plenty of shoes. That's right. Every woman in this room can identify with that. Funny and engaging. By the way, read in your books later in your programs, you'll feel the rest of the story about the shoes. It's already written, so I'm not going to tell you. She's funny and engaging, and our little 5-year-old Little Miss is already a star and a force, changing the way others view her with her bold and direct answers and unwavering desire to be her best self. She participates in cheerleading and gymnastics, is funny and engaging, and celebrates life in every way. She's a child of grace with a heart of gold. Let's hear it for our Autumn Fought, our 2015 Little Miss. I know Autumn wants to say something, and I've only been on stage all my life. Can't figure it out. Autumn, want to tell us something?
I'm so excited to be with Miss Wheelchair.
And do you have a special wish or something you want to tell everybody?
I wish.
Is there something you want to give everybody?
Presents.
Anything else? Thank you. Isn't she darling? Before our 2013 Little Miss, you can come up, Kirsten Passmore leads us in the invocation. I want to remind you, we've got that silent auction going over there. And we have some amazing items I think you've seen. And so many of you have been so generous to donate them. So I hope that you will bid up those bids for us. Whoops. And now the invocation.
Dear Lord, thank you for today. Thank you that we all got to be here. And I'm super excited that Autumn gets to be our new Little Miss Wheelchair. Lord, please help this to be a really great year. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Enjoy your dinner. We'll see you at dessert. I hate to interrupt because I want you to keep eating. Just one little thing. We had a little bit of a miscommunication, I'm going to admit. Sometimes we're not perfect. And we closed the auction, the silent auction, a little early. I mean, I had somebody who wanted to spend $1,000 on the Arcaduro dinner, and we sold it for something way below that. So whoever got it, you got a real deal, since it's my favorite restaurant. But we would love for you to say, if you didn't get to bid all the money you want to, we're going to be asking for money later. So don't worry. You're going to have a chance. Save your checkbooks and everything. It's going to be fine. But the silent auction is closed. Enjoy your dinner. I'll be back in a bit. I want you to continue eating, but you can't talk. Because we have some very important people going to come up here who've been working really hard. And I know they're a little anxious, but we're going to have them come and we're going to introduce them to you and let them speak. So before we do, I just need you to know that each of these amazing candidates has a story to tell, and they're all different, but they all have a common theme, and that is overcoming diversity and serving others. In the past 2 days, they have been through an extremely difficult and selective judging process developed by the Miss Wheelchair America Board of Directors, and this morning, our 2015 candidates were up bright and early with individual judging sessions where each was personally interviewed. At the same time, over the past 2 days, we've had a leadership conference, which we are very proud of because it is part of this is open to the public, and it is amazing and relevant presentations on leadership skills, dealing with the media, women's health issues, public speaking skills. We had 4 amazing people here today. I keep using the word amazing, but they are, who were working with these candidates to help them with their public speaking skills and how to present themselves. And just invaluable tips from the past title holders who said this is what it's going to be like if you win, so that they will know what's ahead of them. They're being judged on 3 categories. First, their accomplishments. They are being looked at as in terms of from the onset of their disability, what have they been doing with their lives, academically, professionally, and personally. The second is being judged on their communication skills. You know, throughout the year, our Miss Wheelchair Texas travels, and she's going to have a tremendous number of audiences of all ages and backgrounds. She's going to need to have skills to make presentations to the media, to her peers, and to community organizations in order to promote her particular platform as well as the mission of Miss Wheelchair Texas. And finally, she's judged on self-perception. So we need to have someone who has heart and the ability to inspire and motivate others. So this is what we are looking for. And listen, I can tell you, I don't know too many people that can do this. I've been a judge before, and I know this is not an easy chore. It's an honor, but it's hard. We have 3 highly qualified judges, however, who are going to help us make this decision tonight. Our first judge needs no introduction in the medical community. Dr. Stanley Appel is a superstar, a visionary recognized throughout the world for his commitment to research, patient care, and education relating to neurodegenerative diseases. The details of his accomplishments you can see in your programs. I would recommend that you read it. It is amazingly wonderful, and it's unprecedented what this man has done. He has dedicated his life to understanding the human brain, and I'd like for you to work on mine because my husband thinks it's a little off. But he also knows, he is also really known for the depth of his compassion and his heart. A man of heart and spirit, we're grateful to have Dr. Appel in our Houston medical community, and we appreciate his willingness to serve tonight as our judge. Welcome, Dr. Appel. Our next judge is a loyal and longtime supporter of Miss Wheelchair Texas, as well as a 25-year veteran in the rehab equipment business. Nancy Rice has earned multiple degrees and certifications and has been serving on the State Medicaid Managed Care Advisory Committee since her appointment in 2013. She is one productive and involved person. And if you've been to any of our past galas, then you've seen her and her husband, Paul, cutting it up and putting us to shame on the dance floor. And I'm hoping she's going to teach me some moves tonight. She lives by her motto, embrace the journey that has brought you to this moment. We embrace you and welcome Nancy Rice as a judge this evening. Our head judge this evening is well known to many of us here at this event. His Abilities Expo celebrates what people can do and connects them with cutting-edge products, services, workshops, and resources that engage, entertain, and change lives. David Course has been producing events for over 30 years, bringing hope and real-life solutions to people around the globe and across a variety of industries. He was a judge in this year's Miss Wheelchair America contest in California. We are grateful for his life's work and delighted that he is here tonight to help us select our 2015 title holder. David Course. So while we only are going to have one winner tonight, we know that every one of these ladies, we are going to welcome them to join us as advocates and as ambassadors for Miss Wheelchair Texas. So that we want you to meet these people now. And as I mentioned earlier, being that we are dedicating this evening to our caretakers, unlike our past years where we've done this, we've invited them to have as an escort a caretaker and to help bring them up on stage. So please welcome our first candidate, Angel Arredondo from San Marcos. Keynote speaker, model, teacher, community activist, and manager of her daughter's country soul band, Angel devotes time to motivating others. Her Valentine wish to everyone is feel loved every day. She is escorted by her husband, Iman, who is celebrating his birthday tonight, so happy birthday, Iman. And congratulations on being married to a real live angel. Angel Arredondo. Our second contestant is Myra Cantu, born in Monterrey, Mexico, but now living in Pasadena, Texas. With her winning smile and engaging personality, Myra is a volunteer extraordinaire, putting her energy and talent into organizing events and encouraging others to stay active and involved. The oldest of 8 children, Myra gets her inspiration from God and her many siblings and their families. She wishes everyone here sweet chocolate hugs. I love it. Her special Valentine tonight and escort is her dear friend, Lupita Perry. Welcome, Myra Cantu. Our third candidate, Veronica Cardona, hails from Deer Park, Texas. Vivacious, passionate, and ambitious, she looks adversity in the eye and dares it to stop her. Using social media, she rallied support from friends, family, and the virtual community of peers that help her believe that anything can happen if you try. Veronica is inspired by her mom, Kathy, and she wishes that each of you will find love and happiness on this beautiful night. She seems to have done so with Brian Stevenson, her boyfriend and escort. Let's welcome Veronica Cardona. Vanessa Sismar from Friendswood and now San Marcos, our fourth wheelchair Texas candidate, is always ready to raise her voice for change. She traveled to our nation's capital to work with state representatives on legislation, including the ABLE Act that was signed into law in December of this last year. But she knows there's more work to do, and Vanessa is meeting the challenge by writing, training, speaking, and volunteering in some of the most respected programs and associations in the nation, including our very own TIER Neuro Recovery Network. Vanessa's Valentine wish to us is that each of us will connect with someone new tonight and possibly begin a lifelong and meaningful relationship. She is escorted this evening by Joe Carter, her friend, and her inspiration. Welcome, Vanessa Sismar. We now welcome our fifth contestant, Raquel Flores from Arlington, Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, if you don't know. In that true Texas spirit, she's got big ideas and the determination to make them happen. She hopes to expand her small home health company into a large disability resource center run by people with disabilities. Her Valentine wish for you is that you feel like you deserve the best love there is, and then you receive it. She is escorted by her caregiver and dear friend, Faye Tamang. Welcome, Raquel Flores. When it comes to raising the bar, Shelley Gray from Austin, Texas has literally done just that. As special counsel for the Health and Human Services Commission, Shelley must be prepared to speak about everything from civil rights to business ethics. She must be comfortable presenting to clients, judges, witnesses, and other attorneys. And I'm married to an attorney, so I can tell you it's a challenge. Living with a disability has taught her to constantly adjust, but to always maintain a positive attitude. Her Valentine wish to you: any love or gratitude you feel for anyone, no matter how small or trivial it may seem to you, share it with that person. It will likely make their day. Her proud, loving, and mom, Sandy Gray, also known as Sassy, is escorting her to the stage. Let's welcome Shelley Gray. Our seventh and final contestant is Lacy Jones from Cooper, Texas. When it comes to determination and positive attitude, Lacy is a cut above and trendsetter. An accomplished hairstylist, Lacy is full of gratitude for her life and gives back by speaking at schools, local hospitals, and churches where she focuses on mentoring newly injured patients and their families. Her Valentine wish is that all of the guests here tonight will get something of value from the stories you hear. Lacy is escorted by her sister and best friend, JC. Welcome the Jones girls and our last candidate, Lacy Jones. So we're going to ask that their escorts go have a seat on the side of the stage. We've already told you about the criteria and the judging procedures, and so now it's time for them to tell you what's in their hearts. Earlier this week, or just actually 2 days ago, I was actually there, they drew, and so they have an order in which they're going to speak that's already been determined. And so first up, we have Vanessa Sismar.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd just like to thank all of you so much for being here for this very inspirational event. My name is Vanessa Sismar. In 2008, I was paralyzed in a car accident. My family was told I would be dependent on a ventilator and never move anything below my neck. As you can see, I thrive on proving people wrong. While I truly believe there will be a cure for those who have suffered a spinal cord injury within my lifetime, I will not sit still and wait. Through hard work, determination, and a lot of support, I have made a slow yet steady recovery. Although my accident was a traumatic and life-altering event, I have learned a lot about myself, others, and how important it is to be your own advocate. My personal passion is self-empowerment. Self-empowerment will help those of us who are disabled gain a greater sense of independence and be able to experience more. Since I was injured, I have learned self-empowerment can simply mean shedding your pride and asking others for help. While in a perfect world, everyone could go anywhere they choose and be accommodated, that is just not our reality. Make what seems impossible possible. The vehicle that I use is not adapted. Instead, I transfer into the passenger seat and use four-wheeler ramps to load my chair. How many times do we go to friends or family's homes who have an ADA ramp? From my experience, not many. In this situation, as well as with a business that may not have a ramp, I bring my own. To me, when a business owner sees that I want to be at their establishment and I make it happen, I feel that they are more open to feedback and possibly making the necessary changes to make their business accessible. I went to a concert at Fitzgerald's here in Houston, which happens to be 2 stories and does not have an elevator. Instead of leaving, the crew there carried my 400-pound chair up and down the stairs. If I were to just complain, I would end up not getting in miss out on a great time, and give a bad impression of the disabled community. If this is not an option for you, choose to give your business to those that are already accessible, rather than being offended by those that are not. As a community, let's empower ourselves by not being offended by mere words. Self-empowerment will help us to stop marginalizing the disabled community. While being politically correct is important to many, I feel it places more of a barrier between people. We continue to ask others to be accepting of our situation. Why don't we start by being more accepting and open-minded to them? Let's lead by our actions. From my experience, there are more people out there who are willing to help than not. By giving attention to the negative experiences, we take away from the positive ones, which make a greater impact. As Miss Wheelchair Texas, I will continue to encourage others to be self-empowered. I would like to create an assembly that collaborates through social media to meet with their local representatives on a monthly basis. Not only will this give our representatives an accountability in their position, it will also keep the disabled community accountable to each other. The issues being addressed would be up to each individual. However, by being connected through social media, we'll learn about others' disabilities and the challenges that they face as well. I will be an advocate for the rest of my life for those who are disabled. Self-empowerment is a platform which is universal to our entire society. Let us be the voice that ignites it.
Our next speaker is Lacy Jones.
I had the prettiest dress you could ever lay your eyes on. The prettiest prom dress. It was blue, it was sequins, it had a trail in the back. Oh, I tried it on 50 times. I couldn't wait to wear it. I had the perfect hairstyle picked out. Y'all, my date was hot. I could not wait to take him and show him off. He was hot. Little did I know that my dress would remain in my closet that night. I would never get to wear it. It was the morning before my high school prom. My sister and I were involved in a car accident. I got thrown 265 feet because I chose not to wear a seatbelt. I woke up in the hospital and had no idea how I got there. No idea. I couldn't talk. I couldn't breathe on my own. My lungs were collapsed because I broke every single rib. I broke my neck, C2, 3, and 4. I was a T10 spinal cord injury. At 18 years old, what's a spinal cord injury? I didn't have a clue what that was. Little did I know that that was going to be the best thing that ever happened to me. I learned so much from being disabled. I learned that you have to go on with your life and accept what happens to you and make the best out of a bad situation. My dreams are I want to be an advocate. I want to be a role model to younger people in chairs and older people in chairs, all the disabled really, and show them that it's okay to live your life from a chair. Just because something bad happens to you doesn't mean you have to go in a corner and cry about it and be upset about it, because what I've learned from doing that is after you cry and you are upset about it, after you cry, you're still going to be in the chair no matter what, so you might as well not even cry. I went to beauty school and I finished beauty school, but one thing I remember from beauty school is in our hometown we have a little girl that got paralyzed a year after I got paralyzed, and she would come into this beauty school and she would be so happy to see me wheeling in there. She would wheel up to me. She wouldn't even go to her sister to do hair. She'd want to come to me. and I did her hair, and I did her makeup, and I did everything that she wanted me to do. And seeing that little girl smile made me smile. After I got done doing her hair, she would look at me and she would say, Lacy, I want to do hair. I want to go out and do what you're doing. And it made me smile and feel so good. After she left and I heard her say that, I made sure I told her she can do anything she wants to do. That she can just do anything. Anything she sets her mind to do, she could do. And I made sure I told her that. And then after she left, I went in the bathroom and cried. I was so happy, and it made me feel so good to be her role model. And if I was to be crowned Miss Wheelchair Texas, with a little help from the crown, will get me a better chance to go and speak to younger people in chairs and the disabled, and show them that they can go on and live their life, and they can be happy and be a role model too, and compete in Miss Wheelchair Texas, and go off and do hair, or take a trip to California and go to the beach. Anything she wants to do, or anybody that is disabled can go off and do anything they want to do. They just have to be happy and accept it and adapt and be determined and have the right mindset, because you can't let your doubts cripple your dreams.
And next we hear from Angel Arredondo.
That's good. My daughter and I live by a motto, and hopefully by the end of this, you will adopt our motto as well. If you look good, you feel good, you do good. This saying has enabled us to overcome many situations in our lives that we have had to deal with. Little did I know that this pick-me-up we had created would be a model of what this past year would be. For the look good aspect of the motto, I was chosen to be an inclusion model for photoability.net. It's an organization that stocks images of people with disabilities that are used by registered national and international businesses in all aspects of their advertising. Models, including myself, celebrate people with disabilities in their everyday lives and spread awareness in the importance of the necessity in travel arrangements and accommodations. It is important for our presence to be seen by the general public. Our everyday inclusion will drive the motivation needed to make the world more accessible, and we might as well look good while we're doing it. In feeling good, I founded Project Hope Rolls. This foundation is dedicated in providing the basic daily essentials needed in care packages for physically challenged adults. These reimbursements validate the recipients in celebrating the value of their personal identities with dignity and respect. I've always taken pride in taking care of myself, and at the same time, I realized that it was difficult for others. The whole goal of Project Hope Rolls is to make those feel good and show them that they are valued members of the society. And if you feel good, self-acceptance is inevitable. Since connecting with the AMC family, I've worked really hard at being a resource to parents of children with my disability. In my eyes, giving back to others is doing good. When I was a little girl in the 70s, I almost didn't want to put that in. My parents had no references of how a child with disabilities would thrive in the home, the classroom, and even in the doctor's office. By answering the questions and lending an ear to their worries and concerns, I've served as an example of the possibility of the life their child could have as a successful adult with a family, a career, and goals for their entire future. All my life, I have worked hard showing others that a disability does not have to hinder your life. We're making waves of progress. We can raise children. We can have careers. We can even drive. And I have to say that's one personal goal of mine that I plan to accomplish this year. And we can also wear a huge crown on our heads. That's goal number 1. But in all seriousness, the crown and the title will again help me set the example of success in wheels. At the regional conference, I met a little girl with a fabulous fur vest and a big giant red bow. I had just gotten off the stage from giving my keynote speech, and at just 3 years old, she had the poise and confidence to come up and introduce herself. I was amazed at how this tiny little thing could present herself in a way every adult should, disabled or not. I want to set the example for little girls like her who could one day want to be Ms. Wheelchair Texas. With this title, I vow to continue in helping others with disabilities, as I have been doing, and I will work to show the able community how much we can contribute by educating them of our differences and abilities and still meet the same goal they do every day. If you ever experience a troubling time, remember that there is a way to get past it. Because if you feel good, you look good, you do good. Thank you.
And next, Veronica Cardona.
Right there? I think so. Hello? Okay, good. Good evening. My name is Veronica Cardona. Let me turn this just a little bit. My name is Veronica Cardona, and I would first like to introduce you to my sidekick and my hot rod, Malina, which means raspberry in Polish. I graduated high school knowing that I was about to walk into the real life, but what I didn't know is that I was actually going to be rolling into the wheel life. A simple vacation weekend was supposed to be a great weekend for us, but it turned into a weekend that I would never forget. As I fell from the top of a cliff, I was screaming no. I then found myself laying in the ICU, learning that a wheelchair was now going to be a part of my every single day life. What does that even mean? I had no idea what a spinal cord injury was. Over the past few years, I've learned more and more of what that has meant. It means that everyday challenges were going to take me just a little bit longer. My lifestyle was going to take a little bit more effort. And the things that I never thought twice about were the things that I now dream about. But at the end of the day, I still live an every single day normal life, just like every single one of you. I'm still living a life where I'm doing everyday activities just like I did before my accident. I can still go to school, I can go to work, I can have an amazing social life, achieve anything in the world that I want to, volunteer and help others, and do whatever else my little heart desires to do. I am capable. I strongly feel as though my personality, my willingness, and my determination has come from what I have gone through with my accident, but also my upbringing. Going through school from elementary all the way up, you build your characteristics and help find out who you are and what your interests are. A wide variety of different people are in your school, and that's when you learn to make friendships with different people. If I am crowned Miss Wheelchair Texas 2015, I am going to make going to school for the disabled community a bigger option. I know that it can be difficult for people who have a disability to go to school. Not all schools are accessible, and even the ones that are, they're barely cutting it. It is so important that we get an education, but even more so for us to be able to engage with the other students and the faculty. This is when you are finding who you are, the strong individuals that you truly are, by learning and interacting with the other students, and even possibly joining school clubs. I know that school can be a difficult experience for the disabled community. They are not all accessible. My college experience, personally, only about 1 out of every 4 doors in the school are actually accessible. You think, oh, that's not really that bad, but when you come down to it, if one building only has 4 doors, you've already circled the entire school. And on top of it, if a fire comes into the school building, a disabled person is rushing to find the nearest accessible handicap exit. This past semester, my class altogether transferred from the classroom to the library. It was a really rainy day, and my teacher said she apologized because the walkway was going to be covered. What she didn't realize is that ramps aren't covered at the school. By the time I went up and down the ramps, 4 buildings down to the library, I was completely drenched, while my other classmates only had a little bit of water on their feet. Accessibility needs to be shown throughout the entire building. School entries, ramps, bathrooms, and accessible doors. This is all so important, and just these few things will make a huge difference and make people with disabilities feel more comfortable about going to school and not having to ask others for help. The more the disabled community has to do homeschooling and online classes, the less the world understands our daily lives and how normal we actually are. We're not aliens. Some of the most amazing individuals I have ever met in my entire life are a part of this disabled community. When I look around me on this stage, I don't see disabled women. I see strong, beautiful, independent women who, yes, are rolling around in their own hot rods. But what can I say? We don't like to get our shoes dirty. Our wheelchairs and our disabilities do not define who we are. It's a piece of who we are. But we are our own individuals who are capable of doing anything we set our minds to. Education, social lives, being a part of something bigger than we are, because just as anybody else with maybe more abilities than we do, we can make a difference. We can have social lives. We can get an education. We can prove to the world that we are women who are just striving to accomplish big things to better ourselves, just as every single one of you. I stand strong by that. Okay, I don't actually stand, but I absolutely believe that. I am not the smartest person. I'm not great at math, and when I sing, I sound like a dying hyena. But my heart completely sinks in and is so warm when it comes to this. My passion in life is helping others, being a part of something that makes a difference, meeting new people, whether they are disabled or able-bodied. I don't discriminate. I love people. I love helping people, volunteering, attending, and helping coordinate different charity events. That is what I love. I want to advocate for the disabled community, and I want to help push all of this. This is where my heart belongs. I hope to be crowned as your next Miss Wheelchair Texas of 2015, and I promise to make you proud, Texas. Thank you.
And next we have Raquel Flores.
So recently, I moved out of my parents' house for the very first time, and it definitely has brought new challenges. But one of the things that has made it a lot easier is assistive technology. Assistive technology can consist of many things. One such thing is, for instance, my ventilator, which, as you can see, resides in front of me. And I like to call it Wally. And Wally has his own personality. Sometimes he talks back. Sometimes he beeps, you may hear it. Usually that's just him saying hi. And as you can see, he dressed up for the night. There are other assistive technologies out there. Another example is an eye gaze. An eye gaze is something that I use to control my computer. It's a device that connects to it. Excuse me. Excuse me. And it tracks my eye movement and allows me to type and navigate my computer just using my eyes, or the movement of my eyes. Another thing that I use is an environmental control unit, and it can turn lights, fans, and TVs and other entertainment devices on and off. And I also use mine for my space heater, which I could really use right about now because I'm freezing. Anyways, these are just a few examples of the technology out there. Can you turn it, please? So with the position of Miss Wheelchair Texas, I would like to work with the manufacturers, with social media and marketing opportunities, legislation, medical company providers, and all persons with disabilities to ensure that these devices are shared resources, implemented education, and these technologies, and to implement education of these technologies and work with this organization for the great state of Texas. Thank you.
Our next contestant is Myra Cantu.
Good evening. It's such a pleasure to be part of this event, along with these wonderful and beautiful women here, which are now my sisters. It has been an extraordinary event. We've learned so much, and I've learned so much from them. And now I want to tell you a little bit about myself. About 9 years ago, I was involved in a carjacking crime. I was partially pushed out of my car, attached to my seatbelt, and dragged. Because of this crime, I have a spinal cord injury, and has changed my life drastically in so many ways. Well, I thought it was drastically at the time. I isolated myself from the world, thinking that was it. There's nothing else for me to do besides just isolate myself in my room. My room was my best friend. And so I stayed there for a while. Well, once I started doing physical therapy at Tier Memorial Herman, I was introduced to a program called Strength Unlimited. And it's a program where we get together and we exercise. Sometimes we don't just exercise, we socialize. And so a dear good friend, the social worker there, Kathy Carrico, had asked me if I would facilitate the support group. And I took it. I wanted to help. Seeing everybody sharing their stories with me, their struggles, and everything that they go through, I wanted to help. And since I volunteered before my incident, I wanted to do it again. It was a way to get me out of my own self, to focus on other people and not focus on my own situations. And well, in the support group, there's different disabilities, from stroke to brain injury to spinal cord. Everybody comes in and they enjoy it. And as I hear their stories, their happiness and their sadness, one of the main things that I heard from them was the holidays. They didn't have nobody to share the holidays with, especially when it came to Christmas. So, along with Kathy's help, we organized our first holiday gala, and we did it at Tier Memorial Outpatient. Well, we had over 100 patients come out, and it was a great success. Everybody's joy and interaction with each one of us was just so gratifying, and I wanted to keep doing it. Well, there was a patient named Manny that came up to me and said, I look forward to the next one. So we did, and in 2014, we had our third gala, and it was also a great success. Well, Manny comes up to me one day and he says, well, why don't we have a holiday party every single holiday of the year? Oh, no, we can't manage to do that. But in that said, I want to do so much for the community to bring them out of their shell, because I can relate with them just like anybody with a disability. We can relate as far as isolating ourselves once something changes our lives. So I want to do so much for them to get them out of their shell, just like they helped me get out of mine. So in that said, like I said, we're all winners in many ways, but we need to help others along the way, and we can all become winners. So each and one of you can help out and bring someone a smile and get them out of their shell. And along with everything else that they need, I thank you.
We need some of that adaptive technology for some of these other things, like getting things caught. I have it happen all the time. All right, and our last speaker is Shelley Gray.
I've been told that I move my head too much, so I need to hold the microphone. So bear with me for a second. Let me paint you a picture. Anyone who has ever driven a car, which is probably most of us in this room, can relate to trying to find a parking space someplace like the mall at Christmas. You race to the mall, you get there, you look for a parking space, and you find one. It's not too far away. Looks like rain, so you grab your umbrella and you race to the mall and you're off to shop. When I arrive at the mall in my ramp van, I have to find a disabled access space with enough room for my ramp to let down on the side. There are only about 25 spaces like that in the mall parking lot, and they're all taken. So I turn to my last resort, which is to park diagonally across 2 regular spaces and let my ramp down, and no one can block me in. I find 2 free spaces at the end of a row. It's a very long way from the mall. It still looks like rain, but I know that I can't hold an umbrella and push my manual chair at the same time. So I head out to the mall. It takes me about 10 minutes and all of my strength to get to the door. And when I get there, I'm too tired to shop. Disability parking affects everyone. It affects the permanently disabled, it affects the temporarily injured, and the elderly, which is a quickly growing population. Second, disabled people represent 18% of the market, so it's in business owners' best interest to have disabled parking. Finally, and what's most, our country and our state have laws that protect access for people with disabilities to parking, to businesses, and in employment. Those laws send a very strong message that disabled access is important. Living with a progressive, the laws allow for disabled parking access to be enforced by volunteers from the public at large. So any government unit in the state of Texas, a city, a county, can appoint volunteers from the general public to enforce disabled parking laws. That's how we roll in Travis County, where I live. I am a volunteer with the Disabled Parking Enforcement Program there. That means I can issue citations to vehicles parked in violation of disabled parking laws. It's a fabulous program, and I encourage you to talk to the local government in your county about appointing volunteers to enforce the disabled parking laws. Living with MS, which is a progressive disease, I have used disabled parking at all stages of my disability. I walked unassisted for a while, then walked with a cane, then needed a walker, then I had a manual wheelchair that I could take apart and load into my four-door car, and now I have the ramp van that I have now. At every stage, I have appreciated disabled parking. I beg your pardon. I have appreciated disabled parking at every single stage. What I have learned is that you can't take advantage, you can't make assumptions about people who park in disabled parking. For example, the woman who parks in a handicapped parking space and walks unassisted into the grocery store to shop may save enough energy by parking close that she can go home and make dinner for her family. I have also learned that by working full-time, volunteering at my son's school, shopping, and taking my dog to the vet, I am representing the disabled population in the community, and I am showing that disabled parking access allows me to bring that awareness into the community. By being a part of the community, I have learned again that awareness is growing. And that's good news. A few months ago, I was at dinner with a friend of mine. I parked in a van-accessible space. I had plenty of room to let my ramp down. When we came out from dinner, someone had parked a motorcycle in the access space for my ramp, so I could not get into my car. While my friend was moving my van so that perhaps I could get in and leave, two guys came out of a restaurant nearby. They took one look at me and the situation. They walked over, they picked up the motorcycle, and they moved it to the sidewalk. And don't you know, the owner of that motorcycle was surprised. So disabled access is important to all of us. Let's keep that awareness coming. Thank you.
We're going to ask our escorts to go ahead and take our candidates out of the ballroom for the second part of the judging, where they will be asked individual questions. And Lacy Jones was the first, chose number 1. She didn't choose it, but that's what she drew. So she'll be our first speaker, and she'll stay on the stage. So if you'll just give us a minute, we'll have a little music playing. I'm sure Kathy can entertain us for a second, and you can visit while we get these ladies off the stage and get ready for our next section.
Lacy Jones, then.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
They changed this around, didn't they? No, it's not the same as that.
I'm going to ask that both sets of doors, there's another set, Brian, that needs to be closed as well. Over here on the, thank you.
Freezing. Let's go, I'm cold.
Wait 1 second. Going to have both sides closed, please. I see there's a door still open. Are we going to, can you close it? Close, go ahead. We're good? Okay. Their doors over there are closed, are open. Oh, they're in another room. Oh, they've solved my problem. Okay, great. Let's move forward. And the judges, you have some questions for Lacy.
So, Lacy, I'm up first. What can women without disabilities learn from women with disabilities?
Determination. People with disabilities that I've learned from being in therapy that I go to and being in just around like Miss Wheelchair Texas, every one of them are determined. And people without disabilities usually don't have the determination that people with disabilities have.
Thank you.
Okay. Can you tell us about an experience where you have turned your disability from a negative into a positive?
When I was in beauty school, I had 2 beauty schools tell me that I couldn't do hair because their stations weren't low enough for me. Well, I went to one, and he helped me conquer my dream, and it made me really appreciate and love being in a chair because he helped me. He probably wouldn't have helped me as much if I wasn't in a chair.
All right, we're ready for our next contestant to come up for her questions. Raquel Flores will be next. We've changed the format on this. In the past years, we have had all of the contestants hearing. Everyone doing the questions, and we felt that this sort of evens the playing field for them to have their own time on stage and not to really have all get the same question. So we hope you bear with us on the timing. Welcome back, Raquel.
Yeah, there you go.
Raquel, the first question is, what can women without disabilities learn from women with disabilities?
Great question. They can learn that we are just like them. We want to have relationships. We want to go out with friends. We want to have the quote unquote normal life, and that it's okay to be friends with us and to that we're just like them. That's what they can learn.
Thank you.
Okay. Can you tell us about an experience where you have turned your disability from a negative into a positive?
I sure can. I went to the mall. There was a band there that they were signing autographs, and I really wanted to see them. And I get there, and the line is so long. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I don't know if I can just wait in this mile-long line. Well, the security guard comes over, and he's like, come on, come to the front. And I said, well, alrighty then.
Thank you. All righty then. Thank you. And as she's leaving, we'll get Shelley Gray to come up.
Cue dancer. Cue dancer. Shelley?
Yes.
What can women without disabilities learn from women with disabilities?
Women without disabilities learn from women with disabilities. Yes. Well, I think the first thing is we all have a commonality. We're all women. So the first thing for them to learn is there's not that much difference than us. We all have the same female issues. We all have the same problems. I think they can also learn that part of being disabled is, well, let me say that for me, being disabled is learning how to empower myself and how to advocate for myself from a position where I am not at the top of the totem pole. And I think that all women are fighting for a different position or fighting for a position in different ways. So I think that's another commonality. And what they can learn from us is that we've had the experience of fighting different obstacles and that we have overcome them or we are overcoming them and that all women can do the same.
Can you tell us about an experience where you have turned your disability from a negative into a positive?
I have turned my disability from a negative into a positive. Well, I think I do that every day in the first part because what I'm trying to do is show a disabled person living and working in the community who is a positive role model and a positive attitude, and that I am able to do what other people can do. I mean, I like to say, and I think it says in the bio, for everything I can't do, there's a lot of things I can. So that's what I would say about that.
And as Shelley goes down, Myra's going to come up. Myra can too.
Myra, what can women without disabilities learn from women with disabilities?
We can all learn several things, and that's by helping. I always focus a lot on helping each other. There's a big need, especially with the support group that I facilitate. A lot of the women have several questions, and I can imagine from people with disability and also just an able body, we have several. And so in that, I think there's a big need. You can help, anybody can help, and that's how I feel that they would be able to help.
Thank you.
Can you tell us about an experience where you have turned your disability from a negative into a positive?
Well, just like today, I was having trouble with my dress, so I said, I'm not going to let, well, it's not so much my dress. I started having spasms, so I'm sure some of you can relate to it, the spasm and tones, and my legs want to go everywhere. And so I couldn't wear my high heels. So I said, well, if I can't wear my high heels, I'm going to wear my slippers. And so I did, and I made it into a positive. And so you have to modify. We tend to modify every situation we can just in order to keep persevering in any situation. Thank you. Thank you.
And as Myra's leaving, we're going to welcome Veronica Cardona. And I just have to show you guys, I brought my slippers too, okay? And it's a lot more comfortable than the heels I have on. I'm going to take and put them on when we start dancing.
Hello.
I'm
Veronica.
back.
Hi. What can women without disabilities learn from women with disabilities?
My experience from being around women without disabilities They have learned that they are beautiful. We are beautiful. They are strong. We are strong. They are independent, and we are independent. They have learned to, from being around me, they've learned that I'm just the same as them. I'm the same person that I was before my accident, and that they're not going to treat me any differently because of it. Women without disabilities just learn to move along with life just as we do, and learn to have faith in me and the other women that I have introduced them to. I think it's just really about being strong, being independent, being beautiful, and that's all of us women. Every single one of you in this room are beautiful, are strong, and you are independent. Thank you. Just kidding.
Okay. Can you tell us about an experience where you have turned your disability from a negative into a positive?
Yes, I can do that. I think just my entire experience has turned into that. I fell off a cliff. I fell 40 feet. I landed in the rocks where I ripped off my foot, shattered my leg, and I broke my spine and became a spinal cord injury. That experience was awful. But at the end of the day, I can honestly say it was the worst thing that I have ever had to experience in my entire life. But it is the best thing that has ever happened to me. I have learned to, adapt to my disability, embrace my disability, love who I am, even though I'm in a wheelchair. I am no different than I was before, except for I'm stronger. I have a different outlook on life. I see everything to be beautiful, and I appreciate the little things that I never did before. My experience was a negative, but I have turned it into a positive, and that's what I will continue to do. Thank you.
As Veronica leaves, we're going to invite Vanessa Sismar.
Can you bring it a little closer? Thank you. Thank you. I think so, yes.
Vanessa, what can women without disabilities learn from women with disabilities?
I feel like women without disabilities can learn an extreme amount from those who are disabled. First of all, personal appearance is extremely important to women. Men too, but women particularly. I feel like they take for granted the fact that to get ready, especially to do something like this event, takes me personally hours, 3 to 4 hours just to get on a dress, fix my hair, and do my makeup. They take going to the bathroom alone for granted. I have a caregiver who is a male. I have to go into the men's bathroom. I think, it's shocking to men to see me in there, but unfortunately, when I go in the women's bathroom, Joe gets the weirdest looks. And it's crazy to me because women's bathrooms have a stall. There's absolutely nothing that he can see in there. The things I see in a men's bathroom, let me tell you, it's not pretty. That would be what able-bodied women probably take for granted the most.
Okay, can you tell us about an experience where you have turned your disability from a negative into a positive?
I would say a negative that was changed into a positive, a huge one. I was given the great pleasure of traveling to Washington, D.C., and I've had a spinal cord injury now for, I guess, it's been 6.5 years, and when I went, it was about a year ago, so I'd only been injured for 5 years, and I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself. But through that experience, I learned by speaking to Ted Cruz, John Cornyn, Sheila Jackson Lee, closer than we are right now, we have such an impact. We were so impactful that one of the acts was actually signed into legislation in December. So I think that's one of the biggest impacts that we've made. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. And our last speaker will be, getting her answer questions, is Angel Arredondo.
Angel,
Yes.
what can women without disabilities learn from women with disabilities?
Well, for one thing, the way we put on our makeup can be different. Our sexuality can be different. I think what I would want all women to learn from me is that it is so important for us to be unlimited, and we are. We can do anything and everything that other women can do as well. I think also learning from us on how we raise our children, how we change their diapers, for instance. That's the way I did everything for my daughter when she was a baby. She's 21 now, senior in college. And I hope that other women can see that our children can be successful. They're also familiar with diversity. They also have more empathy, possibly. More patience, more consideration of others as well. As a woman, I feel like I'm very strong. As a matter of fact, if you Google me, under strong woman in power wheelchair, you'll find me. I just love that. And you'll see a picture of me and my daughter as well, and as our family picture on there too. I hope that all women see that because we are different, we are very unlimited anyway. We can do anything and everything. Our wheels just get us there faster.
Thank you.
Okay, can you tell us about an experience where you have turned your disability from a negative into a positive?
Every day I change my disability into a positive. Whether it takes me an hour or two in the morning to get ready, which my husband does my hair most of the time, so it's a big argument between us. As a matter of fact, my daughter will come home on the weekends from college, and I'll say, okay, I need a new hairstyle. Come on, Iman. We're going to show you how to do it. And we will do it until he gets it right, because I am that. I really take care of how I look, and I can't reach over my head. I can, do everything in front of me. but I can't reach my head unless I lean into something. And hair has always been a difficult situation. But either way, I did find difficulties in my daily life, but I was so happy as a child because my parents accepted my disability early. From that, we were all able to move forward as a family, and that made me be the woman I am today. Thank you.
I think I'm going to make an appointment with Iman for my hair. Well, let's give them all a round of applause. And our judges are going to do some tallying, and I believe Phil Dart is going to be taking care of, he's the owner of DMW and Associates. I need to plug him because he helps us every year, his accounting firm, tallies the judges' scores, and they're going to bring those up to me in a minute. But at this moment, I promised you Chloe Short was going to show us something special. And so she's going to come up here for a second while these gentlemen and ladies are doing their judging. When Chloe was in 5th grade, she decided she wanted to be in the band. She wanted to play a musical instrument. There was just one small problem. Because of the limitations of her disability, there wasn't an instrument that she could play. But that didn't stop her, as we have learned that these people who are so wonderfully full of life and decide they're going to do what they want to do and they need to do, that they find a way, and with their caretakers, who are wonderful and who are not going to stop, I'd like to report to you that now Chloe, who is playing the baritone, which she's going to play tonight, it's also called the euphonium. She's been playing for a year and a half now with her school band and received the Outstanding Music Achievement Award from her band last year and was recently accepted into her school's Wind Symphony. The instrument has been adapted by our judge and Paul here, who are of the Rice family, right, who adapted this for her. And all she does now is she uses switches to push the valves of the instrument. So in just a minute, you're going to hear Chloe performing A Whole New World. How appropriate. That performance has just proven the value of Miss Wheelchair Texas in front of your very eyes. And as she's going down, I'm going to now welcome up another one of our beautiful favorite people. I mentioned her before. She was our 2008 Miss Wheelchair Texas title holder and then went on to become Miss Wheelchair America for 2009. And I welcome Michelle Colvard, who's going to introduce and present our Angel Advocate Award.
Hi, everybody. So since 2008, the Ms. Wheelchair Texas Foundation has honored exceptional Texans who have made a significant impact on the disability community. This year's honoree is no different. Councilmember Brenda Stardig has been an accomplished businesswoman as well as a city leader who really sets the stage for other public officials and how to acknowledge disability issues and fight for our rights. You know, you can watch her in action at city council meetings, and she's always the first city council member to ask a question from the perspective of someone with a disability every time. You know, and it's just, she automatically gets it. It's amazing to me. And I can testify to this firsthand because last summer, a friend of mine had given me a call, and she said, there's a new ordinance that's being proposed in the city of Houston. You probably want to know about it. They said, so this is the new vehicle for hire companies that are coming in and want to do business in the city of Houston have no plans to accommodate people with disabilities who use wheelchairs. No plans. So I watched some footage. This is before I even knew about the issue. I watched some footage, and I saw her really asking educated questions, very effectively, but very graciously, you know, finding out, so what is your plan to accommodate people with disabilities? What's your plan to accommodate people who have service animals, people who use power wheelchairs? She didn't like the answer she got. The answer she got was, we're not going to do it, or someone else will do it. That's the answer she got. And she said, you know what? That's not going to fly here in the city of Houston. It's unacceptable. And, you know, knowing that she's there for us makes a big difference. And she really lit a fire in me to get involved in this particular issue. I can tell you that. So we're still working on it. It's not a, it's a work in progress. We'll say that. And last week, you know, it's interesting because I just saw her. I had the honor of being at an event that was to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Do you realize that law is 25 years old this summer? It's incredible, right? We're still dealing with some of these issues. Well, what you may not know is that the city of Houston actually set the stage for the development of the ADA. In fact, 3 Texans that were instrumental to the passage of the Act were Lex Frieden, he's the godfather of the ADA, and actually last year's honoree, Angel Advocate Award, Justin Dart, another Texan, and President Bush, who signed it into law. Think about that, really neat. And so we were watching some footage from the 70s and the 80s and the very, early 1990, that showed the development of the Americans with Disabilities Act. And I look over, and she's crying. She's wiping a tear. And so I was too, because, one of the things that we saw was right there in the city council, same city council room that she's there every Tuesday and Wednesday. They were making history well before the Americans with Disabilities Act was ever passed. City council members were discussing how they can make the city more inclusive for people with disabilities. It's incredible, and here she is. She's also making history, and the reason that Councilmember Stardig gets it is because she advocates for people, not just in her professional life, but also in her personal life. a lot of people don't know this, but she actually knows American Sign Language. She's also a member of a church for people who are deaf. And she's actually attended this gala in the past, you know. And also, she plays a mean game of wheelchair soccer. You know, some of the city leaders were invited to have an introduction to wheelchair sports. And so those of us that played wheelchair sports, wheelchair soccer, were able to play right alongside her. She jumped in a wheelchair and she played us on her own turf. She proves to us that she rolls with us, literally. You know, for the record, it was a tie, right, as I recall? Okay. Well, you know, she really got inside our heads and our hearts, and I think it's very appropriate that her last name is Stardig, because she is a star for Texans with disabilities, and because she doesn't mind digging down to the root of the issue, down and dirty on these disability issues. They're not easy. They're really pretty tricky. So in her life's work and in her own words, she says she will never leave us behind, and that is why it is such an honor to present the 2015 Angel Advocate Award to Councilmember Brenda Stardig.
Wow. How do you follow those the ladies before Michelle and then Michelle? I love the star. I think that Miss Wheelchair Texas exemplifies the can-do spirit of Houston and Texas. I think that's what motivates me and inspires me to continue to do what I do, the work at City Hall that makes a difference for all of us. But I can't do it without the support of many of you in the room. I had the honor of seeing the Dannenbaums here this evening. It's folks like that that make an investment in campaigns, in events like this, that support good people that make a difference in our world. And the candidates this evening exemplify that. The contestants and their supporters and their families. I want to thank my good neighbors that are here this evening. I have the honor and have worked with Tony Jones and others at City Hall. For those that those of you who may not realize it, I'm ashamed to say, but I'm proud to say, that we were able to get an automated door at City Hall this year. I'm ashamed to say it, but I'm proud to say it. I guess it's better late than never. It's because of good people like Michelle, Angela, Tina, Tony, and others that have the courage to come to me and others and advocate for those things that are the right thing to do. When I realized that there was not an automated door at City Hall and they had to push a doorbell, shame on us. But with that said, we are Houston, we are Texas, and we're proud, and we made it right. With the ordinances that we've recently been challenged with, the changes in transportation here in the city of Houston, across the country and around the world, for any of you that have realized that you've heard of Uber and Lyft and others, the cab companies and the transportation companies that we're dealing with the ordinances at this time. Michelle will tell you that we had the honor and we had the willingness from the companies to come to the table and talk about it and listen. And it is, as Michelle reminded me, it's a training process. It's a process to make people aware of what is needed. Not everyone understands right away what the needs are. I happen to have had the benefit of having a good friend in my early 20s. I won't say how many years ago that was, but who was hearing impaired. He was proud to be deaf. He was a graduate from Gala. He was a file clerk. I was the retirement specialist at a major savings and loan, but I was very young and he was twice my age. And he was the file clerk and I was the retirement specialist. And it was my first real job. What's wrong with this picture? So I went as a young 20-something that didn't know any better, that can-do spirit, and went to the CEO of the largest savings and loan in the state of Texas and said, hey, I'd like to go learn sign language. And I'd like to teach my coworker the non-phone part of my job. And they said, okay. And I said, okay. So I went and learned sign language. And I was proud at that moment when I realized that my friend had received a promotion after we'd worked through it. There is an opportunity, if we all do our part and work together. I tell everyone, and this may not work for Miss Texas, I'll change it a little bit because I normally say something different, but are you a good neighbor in this world? If you are, then come on down to Houston and come on to District A where I represent, the 200,000 people I represent. I want you to be in my world. If you're not, I normally say go to Dallas. But since this is Miss Texas, I'll say go to New York with our shuttle. But I think everyone can appreciate that. And I don't want to miss out, thanking everyone and their willingness to support. But God has a plan for all of us. Everything that has happened in my world, you heard the ladies talk about what happened in their world made a difference in their life and going forward and their attitude. God had a plan for me a long time ago, and I just kept going through the motions. I'm from Spring Branch, West Houston. I never had any idea that I would be the council member of the 4th largest city in the United States, my hometown. But you see what that can-do spirit can do, and that's why I'm here to support this organization, these ladies, and anyone that's willing to support them in this world. And all I ask is that we all be good neighbors. Thank you.
All right, one more short little segment, and I think that we'll have that results of this excitement that's going on here tonight. And I'd like to introduce and bring to the stage 2 people this time. Someone who has hopefully will be my Valentine tonight. She's coming up, Angela Rigglesworth, and one of Houston's finest. Go, Angela. Carl Josehart, the man from TIER, the CEO that makes it all happen and does so much for us and for all of the people in this room.
I think my voice might be gone, so I'm really sorry for how I sound. I am a girl, I promise. I hope that Gloria doesn't kill me, but I'm totally going off script because I have a great story to tell. About a year ago, when we were making plans to partner with TIER and bring our great organizations together, we were invited to come to Carl's office. Y'all, I get to call his CEO by his first name. That's so awesome. Carl invited us to his office, and we were sitting there and visiting and talking about this amazing partnership that we would have with our 2 organizations, and just that the conversations and the ideas that came from it were so exciting. And then we got to talking just on a personal level, and Carl found out that I was a patient at TIER in 1986. and we got to talking about that too, and he said, hey, you know, we have pictures on our wall of fame of former patients, and we tell their stories next to their picture, and there are these great big posters, and I remember even when I was a kid in 1986, rolling down the wall of fame and seeing these people on the wall, and he said, would you like to be on the wall? And I was like, wait, what? You're gonna partner with Miss Wheelchair Texas, and I get to have my picture on the wall? Yes, it was so exciting, and it was such a great moment, and to go through that process was awesome. And flash forward to about a month ago, I was at Target up in Tomball, Texas, and a woman was with her 2 children, and she walked up to me, and she said, excuse me, were you a patient at TIER? And I said, oh my goodness, girl, way back in 1986. And she said, oh, okay, well, this is kind of weird, but are you on the wall? And I said, I am. And she said, is your name Angela? I said, yes, it is. She said, my sister was in a car accident this summer, and we read your story every single day. And she kind of got teary-eyed, and she said, I'm so sorry, I'm kind of having a moment. And I said, I'm kind of having a moment too. My goodness. And honestly, it was such an incredible moment. And Carl and the great people at TIER create moments. They create moments of inspiration so that people with disabilities can go on with their lives successfully. And I am so grateful to call Carl my friend and a partner of Miss Wheelchair Texas is TIER Memorial Hermann Hospital, because it is those great moments that both of our organizations create that is going to change the face of disability in Houston, Texas, and across the world. So please help me welcome Carl Josehart, CEO of TIER Memorial Hermann Hospital.
Thank you, Angela. That's probably the most gracious introduction I've ever had. And thank you to Miss Wheelchair Texas for your work in advancing the vision of creating a diverse, accessible, and inclusive community here in Texas and across the United States. TIER Memorial Hermann shares your vision of building a community where all citizens are valued for their abilities and contributions and are full participants in public life. As a national leader in rehabilitation care, training rehabilitation professionals and research, TIER Memorial Hermann felt this was an important opportunity to add our voice to support the vision of Miss Wheelchair Texas and community leaders by becoming a sponsor of this event in order to further this important discussion in our community. This year, the celebration is made all the more special because it comes at a time when we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. Earlier this week, Lex Friedman and I had the opportunity to participate in a ceremony honoring the special role that Houston played in this landmark legislation. During the opening night of the Real Abilities Film Festival, we were able to participate in a tribute to the work of President Bush. His grandson, Pierce Bush, was present and watched with us a clip of his grandfather's historic remarks on that day. And as I heard the words of President Bush echo through the theater that night, I could think of no better way to honor our celebration tonight than by sharing a few excerpts from his remarks on that 1990 historic day. So please indulge me while I quote from our former President, H.W. Bush. He said that day, "This is an immensely important day, a day that belongs to all of you. Today we're here to rejoice in and celebrate another Independence Day, one that is long overdue. With today's signing of the landmark Americans for Disabilities Act, every man, woman, and child with a disability can now pass through once closed doors into a bright new era of equality, independence, and freedom. As I look around at all these joyous faces, I remember clearly how many years of dedicated commitment have gone into making this historic new Civil Rights Act a reality. It's been the work of a true coalition, a strong and inspiring coalition of people who have shared both a dream and a passionate determination to make that dream come true. It's been a coalition in the finest spirit of public officials and private citizens, of people with disabilities and without. President Bush went on to say that by enacting the ADA, we are keeping faith with the spirit of our courageous forefathers who wrote in the Declaration of Independence, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights." These words have been our guide for more than 2 centuries as we have labored to form our more perfect union. But tragically, for too many Americans, the blessings of liberty have been limited or even denied. The Civil Rights Act of '64 took a bold step towards righting that wrong, but the stark fact remained that people with disabilities were still victims of segregation and discrimination, and this was intolerable. He remarked that the ADA brings us closer to that day when no American will ever again be deprived of their basic guarantee of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The act is powerful in its simplicity. It ensures that people with disabilities are given the basic guarantees for which they have worked so long and so hard: independence, freedom of choice, control over their lives, the opportunity to blend fully and equally into the rich mosaic of the American mainstream. Legally, it provides our disabled community with a powerful expansion of protections and basic civil rights. It guarantees fair and just access to the fruits of the American life, which we all must be able to enjoy. Together, we must remove the physical barriers we have created and the social barriers that we have accepted. For ours will never fully be a truly prosperous nation until all within it prosper. For inspiration, we need to look no further than our neighbors. We applaud you and your shining example. Thank you for your leadership and for all that are here today. Our problems are large, but our unified heart is larger. Our challenges are great, but our will is greater. And in our America, the most generous, optimistic nation on the face of the earth, we must not and will not rest until every man and woman with his dream has the means to achieve it. Today, America welcomes into the mainstream of life all of our fellow citizens with disabilities. We embrace you for your abilities and for your disabilities, for our similarities and indeed for our differences, for your past courage and your future dreams. He went on to say that the legislation takes a sledgehammer to another wall, one which has for too many generations separated Americans with disabilities from the freedom they could glimpse but not grasp. We rejoice as this barrier falls, proclaiming together, we will not accept, we will not excuse, we will not tolerate discrimination in America. He concluded his remarks that day by saying, let the shameful wall of exclusion finally come tumbling down. As our nation has celebrated the 25th anniversary of the passage of the ADA, I have heard many people ask the question, who will carry on this important work into the future? Who will be the leaders that build on the solid foundation we have created to continue the work until we reach the fulfillment of full inclusion? It's my hope that everyone attending tonight will come away knowing that our future is secure. The women we met tonight have demonstrated their commitment, passion, and talent for carrying the torch that will continue to light our way to show our friends and neighbors that disability rights are civil rights, Separate is never equal, and accommodation is our expectation. All of our amazing contestants are living examples that having a disability doesn't mean your body is broken or less beautiful if it looks or acts differently. It is the society that is broken if people can't see you for who you are. We are depending on you to share this message that a bad attitude is the only real disability. We hope the inspiration you feel tonight will lead you to use your gifts and raise your voices to expect more, empower you to demand more, and that you will be part of making the dream of creating a community that is barrier-free for all. You are not alone. You are part of a community that sees you for who you are, loves you as you are, and will join you in making the change. On behalf of the caregivers, staff, and physicians of TR Memorial Hermann, we wish all of the contestants and their caregivers and families our most sincere congratulations, and we promise you our support on the road ahead. Congratulations, and have a wonderful evening.
Guess what I have? Results. Okay, don't trample one another, but I need all the escorts and the contestants back up on the stage, if you would, please. And then some music to help them come up so that I don't have, it sounds a little bit like we're having something going on here. And I'm going to wait for music and people coming. Here they come, yes. As they're coming, I want to just remind you and thank a few people too. We have Let It Fly did our beautiful decorations tonight. We just love all that they did. We want to thank TIR again for for helping us host the leadership conference. We want to thank everybody who had a part in this, and those of you who have who won silent auction items, you'll be able to go out there. On your tables are envelopes. And a big red one. There's a big red envelope on every. It's actually small. We needed a big one because we're going to have some big checks going there, I believe. But anyway, I hope that you will understand that all of the proceeds for Miss Wheelchair Texas and the money that you donate to us goes to help pay for all the expenses of Miss Wheelchair Texas as she travels throughout the state and the nation to advocate and do her thing. So we need for you to please continue to help us, and we hope that you will consider giving us another donation tonight or at some other time and use those envelopes to do so. And we've got them almost up here. And before I announce our next 2015 title holder, we are now going to welcome the 2014 Laura Halverson, who wants to say goodbye to us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Laura Halverson.
It has been an incredible experience being Miss Wheelchair Texas. I've traveled all across this great state, and I've met all sorts of people and done so many things, like teaching a class on how to be your own advocate at my local independent living center. My most memorable experience was attending the first ever Texas Disabilities Issues Forum in Austin. There, I met with other disability rights organizations and met with some representatives running for office in 2014. And they all addressed their platform on disability issues. This only strengthened my passion for disability advocacy. And I'm happy to say that in March, I will be moving near Washington, D.C. That's right, Miss Halverson's going to Washington. Be prepared for some Jimmy Stewart-like inspiring speeches. During my reign, that's not to say I didn't have a few speed bumps along the way. In December, I had a lengthy battle with pneumonia. And right before having to go to Miss Wheelchair America, I broke my femur and had to have a titanium rod put in, putting me one step closer to being the bionic woman. In true Viking-like spirit, others might call it stubbornness, I didn't want to let a broken bone get in the way of competing. But after lengthy discussions with friends, family, and of course doctors, we decided it would not be a good idea for me to attend. But it was a blow at first. But then I realized Texas is like a country within itself. And as Haley, Miss Wheelchair Texas 2013 reminded me, Texas has the only flag that flies equal with the United States flag. I've really enjoyed getting to know my fellow sisters on wheels this year. To me, all the women competing are already winners, crowned or not. Just by competing, they become Miss Wheelchair Texas ambassadors, and they advocate for people with disabilities. And so many of our ambassadors have gone on to do such great things this year. I'd like to give a big thank you to the Miss Wheelchair Texas Foundation and our wonderful sponsors like Tier Memorial, as well as my family and my friends that have supported me, including my sponsors, Camp Craig Allen. They've all helped me grow as an advocate. I cannot wait to see what this year's girls do with their title as a Miss Wheelchair Ambassador or Queen. So without further ado, let's see who's crowned Miss Wheelchair Texas 2015. Thank you.
Now, drum roll. Chandler? Let's do it. In case Miss Wheelchair Texas is unable to fulfill her duties, which has happened to us twice now because we have people going on to become Miss Wheelchair America, because we are Texas, you know. The first runner-up, Angel Arredondo. Not me over. Okay. Okay, I love that drum roll. Here it comes. Hope I don't tear it in half. Miss Wheelchair Texas for 2015 is Shelley Gray.
Officially, and wear a sash and a tiara when I do it. Love it. Thank you, thank you. Do I just speak?
No. Do you want to say something or not?
No, I'm good.
She's speechless. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our evening. All of our contestants are winners. They're all going to go out and advocate for us. We hope that you will do the same. These women show us every day that we all have a choice to be a blessing in this world and to go out and do something. So let's go do it. Let's go dance. Okay, join us.